Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can see by the title, this is my 2021 Championship table predictions. Before we get into this, I just want to say I hate doing these, as especially this year, we all know the Championship is so unpredictable and anybody could finish anywhere this year, literally. So, like I say, I hate doing these. No matter where I put each team, people will disagree. So obviously this is my opinion. If I put your team lower than what you think, obviously you'll probably be annoyed by that, but don't come giving me grief. Just drop your predictions in the comments instead. That would be greatly appreciated if you could, and not give me stick, as I hate these as it is, but I always like to put one out so I can come back to it at the end of the year. It's always a good look back. But yeah, like I say, if I do put your team lower than what you think, I apologise. If you are new, drop a thumbs up and subscribe. We're on the road to 2.2k. So yeah, I'm going to try not to ramble on, as it'd be quite a long video, but if you could watch it all, that'd be appreciated. Let's get into it. Start at the bottom of the league. At the bottom of the league, like many people will be predicting this year, I'm going to put Wickham. Last year they did exceptionally well to come up with the squad they got, and where they finished, obviously they got in the playoffs with points per game. We've got a great manager with Gareth Ainsworth. I'd like him to do well, as he's stuck with that club and done a great job with what he's had to work with. But it is a huge step up from what I saw last year. The quality, I think they'll put in a good fight and they'll cause some upsets, but I don't think they'll be good enough, and I think they'll come bottom of the league. 23rd, also to get relegated, I'm going to go with Sheffield Wednesday, fellow Yorkshire boys. Obviously, you know they've got the -12. In my opinion, that will kill them off. They've lost quite a few key players this window as well. Forestieri, Hutchinson, Connor Wickham, Murphy. As of now, these are the transfers, obviously. But I think the -12 will kill them, and I don't think they'll have enough to stay up. They'll have to be on playoff form if they want to survive. I think Wednesday will finish in that 23rd spot. Finishing the relegation spots, I'm going to go for Reading. They've been quite an inconsistent team over the last couple of years. I think for the last 2 or 3 years, they've been down in the bottom of the bottom half, but outside the relegation zone. Last year, they finished just below mid-table. But I think the inconsistency will kill them, and they might not be strong enough to stay up this year, and I think Reading will finish 22nd. Just outside of the relegation zone, I'm going to go for Luton Town. They did amazing with us to stay up last year. They've got a very, very good manager, obviously, come back, but I do think they will struggle again, but not struggle too much, as I do think they will survive. I think they'll finish in 21st. I do like Luton, as they came up with us and they did amazing to stay up and to prove everyone wrong after getting written off early in the season. But I think they will stay up. They'll struggle, but I think they'll stay up and they'll finish 21st. After finishing second in League One last year, after points per game, I've got Rotherham in 20th. Obviously, they want to promote teams, so they will be expected to go down. They've signed good players such as Angus MacDonald, former Reds player, and Blackburn, and also Kieran Sadlier. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Some good signings there. I've seen a lot of people tip Rotherham to get relegated, as I see them as well as us as a yo-yo team. But I think Rotherham will do well and survive this year, finishing 20th. In 19th, I've got Blackburn. They had a strong year last year. There were a chance where they could have got in the playoffs. They lost Dak earlier in the year. I'm not sure if he's back this year, as I know he's not. But I do think they can be quite an inconsistent team. I think next year won't be a so good year for them. I've put them down in 19th. Like I say, if you do disagree with any of these, I apologise. I hate doing these. There's so many teams to predict from. Anyone can finish anywhere. The Championship is crazy. In 18th, we've got QPR. They've signed a class striker in Dykes from Livingston, who we were linked with. They've also lost the best player last year, Eze. I do think it will be another poor year from QPR. I do believe they've got Mark Warburton still. If they haven't, I apologise. I've tried to do my research, that's why I keep looking down. I think QPR will have another underperforming season, and I do think they will finish in 18th. In 17th, I could get quite a lot of stick for this. I've got Stoke City. For the last couple of years, Stoke have been tipped to get up in the playoffs each time, and they've both been down bottom. And I don't think they'll be so much down bottom, but I think they'll be in 17th next year. They've got a great manager on paper. They've got a very, very good squad. Like I say, they're always expected to finish high. But once again, I don't think they'll be pulling any strings. I don't think they'll be blowing anyone out of the water again. I do think they'll be finishing in 17th. Once again, I think I'll get a bit of stick for that one. Second year after getting relegated from the Premier League, got Huddersfield. I put them in 16th. No relegation scrap like last year. They obviously ended up surviving. I think it'll just be a steady, mediocre season for Huddersfield. Like I say, they've got a good team on paper of Huddersfield. Obviously, they lost the manager midway through last year, but they've got a new guy in, and I reckon he'll just guide them to a below-average season. In 15th, we've got Bristol City. They always seem to get up and around the playoffs, but never seem to get in it. Obviously, they lost the manager last year for whatever reason. They've got a new guy in, which I was reading, a guy that a lot of fans didn't want. They've got some crazy kits this year, I must put that out. I do like the away kit, the purple and green one. But they've signed a class player in Joe Williams from Wigan, used to be at Barnsley, very good player. But I do think they'll have a poor season, Bristol, and I think they'll finish in 15th. In 14th, I've got Derby. I know I keep saying this a lot, but on paper they've got a very good team. There's some class teams in this championship. But they lost Chris Martin last year, but they've got some very good kids coming through the ranks, such as Sibley and Jason Knight. Class kids that definitely showed their worth last year. They've still got Wayne Rooney, but I don't think Derby like Bristol. I don't think they'll be blowing anyone out of the water. I think they'll have a mediocre season this year. Obviously, they didn't do too bad last year, and then obviously missed out on the playoffs in the final the other year. But I do think Derby will finish 14th. On to 13th, you've got my team, Barnsley. I predicted a similar finish last year. Obviously, it didn't go that well, but I'm going to back them again. We've got a very good manager. Hopefully, we can learn from last year. I do believe Shrewsbury is the right man to get us up that table. I do think we'll have a steady season this year. We've signed Killian Ludovic back on loan, and we've also signed Dominic Freezer. We're linked with a few other players, which would be nice to get. I don't think we're doing anything crazy next year, but I do think a mediocre mid-table season finish is exactly what we need, and I think we will get it. As we hit the halfway mark, 12th, we've got Preston. Once again, they've got a very good manager. They've got a very good team on paper. The likes of Sinclair, that Barku, I can't say his name. Brad Potts used to be at Barnsley. Got some very good players. Once again, a team that always seems to be up there but never seems to get the playoffs. I think they'll drop off a bit next year, but they'll still be a good team. I think they'll finish mid-table, will Preston. In 11th, this one was a bit of a stretch. I'll put Birmingham. They've obviously got that Karanka, I do believe that's his name. A good manager, I've been reading. Obviously, they lost Jude Bellingham to European giants Borussia Dortmund. They've signed some very good players, Sanchez and Villaba, I think I pronounced the name wrong. Two Spanish good prospects I've been reading. I've tried to do my research, like I say. They've also signed Torrell, who was at Hull, he used to be at Birmingham, and also George Friend from Middlesbrough. So they've signed some decent players, it does seem. Hopefully they can perform for them. I do think they will finish in 11th. In 10th, we've got the team that I tipped to finish rock bottom last year, but actually had a very good season. They had only a couple of wins off getting the playoffs. It's Millwall. They've signed a great striker, young gun, Troy Parrott from Tottenham Hotspur. I reckon they'll have another playoff push, but I think they'll just come short. I think they'll finish in 10th, but I do think the striker that they've signed in Parrott and also the other good players we've got around them and the good manager, I reckon they'll be up in that gap again, but I don't think they'll get the playoffs. That's why I think they'll finish in 10th. In 9th, we've got the first of our two Welsh teams. We've got Cardiff City. They have made a big signing. They've signed Kiefer Moore from Wigan, who got relegated. A very good signing. He used to play for Barnsley. I don't think they will do as good as last year. I do believe they're keeping Lee Tomlin, which will be very key for them to go on that playoff push again, as he is one of their best players and he had a great season last year. I want to say he got injured for a bit, but I might be wrong. But yeah, they've got a very good team and I think they'll be up there again, but I think they'll just finish short and they'll finish 9th. And here's the next one that I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for. Each season when I do these, I always try to put at least one dark horse in. And in 8th, I've got Coventry. Yeah, Coventry. This is, you got to go for a dark horse. It's a prediction. Predictions are never as simple as you think. But yeah, they've signed a guy called Osterig from Brighton on loan, Ryan Gilles from Wolves on loan, and also signed Callum O'Hare from Villa. Signed some decent players, and I also watch a Coventry YouTuber, and he seems quite confident, and they're my dark horse for this year. I've got Coventry in 8. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or if that's realistic. In 7th, we've got last year's playoff final losers, Brentford. Obviously, as we know, Benrahma and Watkins have not played in their pre-season, so as I'm recording this, they are set to leave. They haven't left yet, but they've still got a very good team on paper. They've still got a very good manager. A lot of fans out there do hate their manager, Thomas Frank, but he is a very good manager. I've got to give him that. I do think they'll have another good year with the players they've got. They signed Charlie Good from Northampton, who had a great season, getting promoted with them to League One last year. But I think Brentford will be good, but not as good as last year, and they'll finish just short of the playoffs in 7th. On to the big time and the big money, where the promotion lies, in the playoffs. In 6th, I've got Middlesbrough. Obviously, they struggled last year. They brought Warnock in to save them from relegation, and what did he do? Kevin did a great job. It was meant to be his last year of managing, but now I do believe he's carrying on. They've signed some good players as well. Signed Marcus Brown, I do believe you pronounce his name, from Oxford, who was a good player for them last year, and also Grant Hall from QPR. They've got a very good team on paper, the likes of Ashley Fletcher, Tavernier, Wing, Howson, some good players, and I think Middlesbrough and Warnock, who's a very good manager, and I think they'll finish 6th. The first of our 3 relegated Premier League sides, I've got Norwich. They've kept some very key players alike of Pookie, and I do believe still got Buendia. I'm not sure if Cantwell's been sold yet, but from as of now, they've still got also they've signed Jordan Hugill and Kieran Dowell, and also Oliver Skip from Spurs on loan. That's 3 good signings there, so I think Norwich could be a very good team this year with them signings. Hugill is a big threat. Kieran Dowell was a good player at Wigan. Also Oliver Skip, he's got that Premier League experience, playing a few games for Spurs, but I think Norwich will be a good team this year and finish 5th. Into 4th, we've got Dort on Tor's team. If you're watching this, then hello mate. Forest in 4th I'm off for. Obviously disappointing last year, but they've made some class recruitments this year. They've signed Tyler Blackett, Lyle Taylor, Jack Colback, a guy called Bicharu, probably butchered that, from Malmo. He's meant to be a very high talent. They're some of the main players, but that Lyle Taylor signing could be huge to get them the goals that they need. Up front with I forgot their striker's name, but yeah, I think Forest will finish 4th. And the final playoff place, we've got 3rd. We've got the 2nd Premier League team to be relegated. We've got Bournemouth. Obviously, they lost Nathan Ake to Giants, Manchester City. But as of now, they've still got a class squad on paper. The likes of Wilson, King, Lerma, Brooks. They've got some very good players on paper. If they keep them, I'm not sure. There's still quite a big chunk of the transfer window to go, but I do think Bournemouth will be strong next year. I think all the teams that will come down will be strong next year. I could be wrong, but it's just a prediction, so fucking send it. But yeah, I think Bournemouth will finish 3rd and just miss out on automatic. In 2nd, we've got one that I've not seen many people predict, but I'm going to go for it, because why not? I've got Swansea in 2nd. Obviously last year getting to the playoff semi-final, losing to Brentford. There's signed some good players as well. There's been some great recruitment from some of the championship seasons to say what's happened with the whole you know what. They've signed Corey Smith, Woodman, Jamal Lowe, and the big one for me is Morgan Gibbs-White on loan from Wolves. That's a massive signing. I've watched him play for Wolves in the past and for their youth team, and he is some talent. He's a good player. So I think Swansea could be a force to reckon with. I don't think they're getting Brewster back, which could be a big blow for them, but with what they've signed there, and probably more to come, I do think I've missed some of the signings off there, but yeah, they could be a good team next year, Swansea. Top of the league, we've got the last Premier League team. We've got Watford. They've got a class squad if they don't sell anyone. The main boy, Ismail Assar, but the list goes on. They've got experience at the back, and they've got Dawson, and the fullback, I forgot his name. They've also got Duakora, Will Hughes, Chalobah. Up front, they've got Deeney, Gray, Ismail Assar, Ivan Success, Lerma. They've got some very good players, and also Danny Welbeck. So, yeah, there's some strong squads in this league, I must say. But that is the my predictions. You might hate me after that for putting your team where I put them, but I apologise. Just my predictions. Make sure you drop yours in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you don't want to write it all out, just give me your top 6 and your bottom 3. That's more than enough. But if you have made it this far, comment, the Championship is the best league in the world. If I see some of them comments, I'll pin you. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. You Reds.